girls, welcome back to another virtual lesson. It's Miss Julie. I hope you guys are still staying safe and having fun. I hope you guys are doing things to let that stress out and have fun. That can be going outside, taking a walk, riding your bike, scooter, spend time with your family. I just hope you guys are at least maybe trying new things. You never know. So today we're going to have another virtual lesson, and then we're actually going to do my puddle flower lesson. Now, my K through second graders, we have done this. It was something very fun, easy to do, and I figured, you know what, why not do it again? Because it's important to kind of learn about plants and flowers and kind of like what happens with them. So, we're going to learn today how flowers grow and bloom. So just like humans, flowers go through cycles, and then they need certain things to bloom. So flowers, they have different parts. They have the roots, and the roots are in the ground, and then it goes up into a stem. And then we have the leaves on the stem, and then we have the petals, the main part of the flower on the very top that we see, that we look at and smell and think is so pretty. That's like the petals and the flower part. But in order for a plant to look like that, it has to go through a certain process, and that's called photosynthesis. This is where plants are able to make their own food. Now, in order to do this, it needs a couple of things to go into it. But first, plants are able to do this because they use carbon dioxide and they turn it into oxygen. So if you don't know what carbon dioxide is, that's where it is the oxygen that we breathe in and then we breathe back out. So when we breathe back out, that oxygen is turned into carbon dioxide. So plants suck that up through their leaves, and then that's how they are able to make more oxygen and then make their own food. So plants, so like flowers and trees, are very important because they produce oxygen, and that helps us breathe. So you can kind of see that we even help plants with their photosynthesis cycle because we produce and let out that carbon dioxide, and they need that in order to make their food. So to break up the word photosynthesis, so photo, the P-H-O-T-O, that means light. So it needs light in order to do this. And then the synthesis part, the S-Y-N-T-H-E-S-I-S part, it's putting together. So that's where it's putting all those different parts together to do this process. So in order to make this food, plants need carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight. They need the carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight. So we're just going to kind of talk about the process really quick. So we have our ground, and then we have these little things down here. These are our roots. And then this is our stem, the big long line. And then we have our leaves, and then the flower, and then the sun. So we have our stem and our roots. So what happens with our stem and our roots is when it rains or when you water a flower, the water is going to absorb by the roots, so the water soaks down into the ground, and then the roots work extra hard to soak up that water. And so when they soak up the water just kind of goes up the root. So it's like following the leader right up the line. So then it travels to the stem. Now, from the stem, it's going to go to the leaves. So after the water is absorbed by the roots, it's going to go up the stem. And then we have our leaves. So here you can see I put carbon dioxide, and then I put an arrow towards the leaves, and then I put the word oxygen, and the arrows leaving the leaves. So what happens here is the flower takes that carbon dioxide into the leaves, and then the carbon dioxide is going to pass through small pores in the leaves, and then the oxygen is going to leave the leaves, just like that. So we have the carbon dioxide going into the leaves, and then the oxygen going out of the leaves. And then finally we have the sun. So the sun puts off these UV rays, and that's the sunlight. And so the sun the flower absorbs the sunlight by these green chemicals in the leaves. So that's how it is able to get the sun and kind of absorb it into the flower. So we have that. Okay, so now I have already colored mine. So what you're gonna do, so this is what mine looks like. So I just did all different kind of colors. If you can find a printable one online, you can do that, or you can draw it. So if you draw it, it just kind of needs to look like this. So it needs to be the petal parts of the flower, just like that. So that's what you are kind of aiming for, and that's what you want to draw. And then after you draw it, you want to color it like so. So I colored mine all different colors. You can put patterns on it. You can put whatever you want on it. And then you're going to cut it out. All right. So then after you have that, you're going to take all these petals and kind of just gently fold them in like that. So you don't want to press too tight on it. Just kind of barely fold it in. I'll show you at the end. You just want to press enough so then it looks like that. All the petals are in. So then what you're going to do with this is I have a pan of water over here. So we're going to kind of see the process of what a flower goes through. So we're going to put the flower into the water, and then we're going to kind of see what happens. Okay, so then you just want to gently place it in the water, and then you just wait. So as you can see, the petals of the flower are starting to go out. This is kind of like when a flower blooms. The flower in the water is starting to bloom. Okay, so we put our flower in the water and we watched it bloom. So obviously this is not like a real flower that's going through photosynthesis, but it just kind of shows you that there are things that the flower needs in order to bloom. A flower just doesn't automatically look like that. Just like humans, we have to grow and we have to have food and water and sunlight and oxygen and many different things in order for us to grow and bloom just like a flower. So the reason why I did this is because it's a paper flower, and so the paper flower kind of acts like a real flower. So just like the roots of the flower, it kind of absorbs the water. So just like the paper absorbed that water into it, and then that's what made the flower open up and bloom. So that's kind of what it looks like. It obviously doesn't happen that fast. There's other factors that go into it. Just like I said, the flower needs carbon dioxide and sunlight with the water in order to do this. But this was just something fun that you can kind of see that what takes the flower to bloom. So I hope you guys had fun. I hope you all maybe plant a flower. You never know. My mom has a garden. It's fun to kind of watch the plant bloom and grow. So I hope you guys learned something about photosynthesis and about flowers and why it's important that we also need to take care of them and maybe help them out by watering plants. So I will see you guys next time. Bye, girls.